Hi, welcome to NPA Teaching. As we said that integration is the process of finding the original function from its derivative. Basically, we use integration to find out area under a curve. The development of definition of the definite integral begins with the function f of x, which is continuous on a closed interval a and b. An integral that contains the upper and lower limits, then such an integral is called definite integral. It is denoted by a definite integral from a to b f of x dx, where a is called the lower limit of the integral and b is called the upper limit of the integral. Thus, the definite integral has a unique value. Students will probably find it easier to move on the concept of definite integrals once they have fully grasped the idea of how to find indefinite integral. One of the important application of the definite integral in economics is to find consumer surplus and producer surplus. The area under a graph of a continuous function from a to b can be expressed as definite integral of f of x over the interval a to b. That is the integral from a to b f of x dx. Here a is called lower limit of the integration and b is the upper limit of the integration. Unlike indefinite integral, which is the set of function containing all the antiderivatives of f of x, the definite integral is a real number which can be evaluated by using the fundamental theorems of calculus. The fundamental theorem states that the numerical value of the definite integral of a function is given by the indefinite integral f of x plus c evaluated at the upper limit of the integration b, then minus the same indefinite integral f of x plus c evaluated at the lower limit of the integration a. Since c is common in both of the places, the constant integration is eliminated in subtraction. So here the integral from a to b f of x dx is equal to f of x, which is evaluated the upper limit b and lower limit a, which is equal to f of b minus f of a. So this difference f of b minus f of a is called the definite integral of the function f of x over interval a and b. So this difference does not depend on the indefinite integrals. On the other hand, definite integral of f of x depends only on the function f of x and its interval a and b. Suppose we want to find the area under the curve of the function y is equal to 4x cube, which is evaluated between x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4. So for evaluating the definite integral of any function, the first we want to find indefinite integral of the function. Then we have to evaluate at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4. So here the integral from 0 to 4 for x cube dx is equal to, taking 4 outside, then it will become 4 into the integral from 0 to 4 x cube dx. So it is the integral of x cube is equal to 4 into 1 by 4 x raised to the power 4, then which is equal to x raised to the power 4. Now x raised to the power 4 can be evaluated at the upper limit of the integration 4 minus the same x raised to the power 4 can be evaluated at the lower limit of the integration, which is equal to 0. So here 4 raised to the 4 minus 0 raised to the power 4, which is equal to 256 minus 0, which is equal to 256. Let us consider another numerical example, that is definite integral from 1 to 3 the function x cube plus x plus 6 dx. First we want to find out the indefinite integral of x cube, that is 1 by 4 x raised to the power 4 plus the integral of x, which is equal to 1 by 2 x square plus the integral of 6, which is equal to 6x, which is evaluated the upper limit of the integration, which is 3, and the lower limit of integration 1. So if you substitute x is equal to 3, then it will become 1 by 4 3 raised to the power 4 plus 1 by 2 3 square plus 6 into 3 minus The same indefinite integral can be evaluated at the lower limit of integration. Here it is 1. So minus 1 by 4 into 4 raised to the power 4 plus 1 by 2 into 1 square plus 6 into 1. So if you solve this, then it will become 36. Now we are going to discuss the properties of definite integrals. The first property is that we can interchange the upper and lower limits on any definite integral. What we want to do here is to put a minus sign onto the integral when we do the same. That is, the integral from a to b f of x dx is equal to minus integral from b to a f of x dx. That means here we put the minus sign before integral when we interchange the upper and lower limits of the given definite integral. The second property of definite integral says that if the upper and lower limits of definite integral are the same, then there is no work to do. The value of definite integral is 0 because the integral from a to a f of x dx is equal to f of a minus f of a, which is equal to 0. The next property says that the definite integral of a constant times a function is equal to the constant times the definite integral of the function. That is, the integral from a to b c f of x dx, which is equal to c into integral from a to b f of x dx, where c is the any real number. So as with the limit, derivative and indefinite integrals, we can also factor out the constant. The fourth property of definite integral says that the definite integral of the sum or difference of any two function with identical limits of integration is equal to the sum or difference of two definite integrals. That is, we can break up the definite integrals across a sum or difference. So here the integral from a to b f of x plus or minus g of x is equal to the integral from a to b f of x dx plus or minus the integral from a to b g of x dx, as here we have the identical limits of integration a and b. The fifth property of definite integral says that the definite integral can be expressed as the sum of component subintegrals. That is, if the limit of definite integral is from a to c, then we can divide this component into subintegral like from a to b, then b to c. So here the integral from a to c f of x dx is equal to, firstly, the integral from a to b f of x dx plus, then secondly, integral from b to c f of x dx, where a is less than equal to b, which is less than equal to c. The last property of definite integral is the integral from a to b f of x dx is equal to the integral from a to b f of t dt. That is, the point of this property is to notice that as long as the function and the limits are the same, the variable of integration, that is f of x in the first case and f of t in the second case, that we use in the definite integral will not affect the answer. I hope you are clear about the concept of definite integral and its properties. Have a nice day and see you in the next video. Thank you.